Billionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the N.G.L.A. podcast, where we talk about sports, politics, music. It doesn't matter, man. We're going to get into any and everything because that's just what we do, you know? But before we start, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it. You feel me? Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy drop a dope video. Understand, it costs nothing, like zilch, nothing, for you to hit that subscribe button and that like button to support the channel and see me grow. You know, when I grow, you grow with me and we grow together, you know? Today we're going to be talking about, we're going to look at this interview. This was a good interview with Tulsi Gabbard. She was on the Pod Force One podcast, and it was a really interesting interview. And because, like I said, Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat her whole life up until this past election. So hearing her go into detail about Hilary Clinton and things that was going on with her, you know, during this whole time when she started seeing things weren't, you know, what she expected the Democratic Party to be. And, you know, she gonna get into it. Also, we're gonna talk about Shaduer Sanders, the real deal. That's all I would say. He's the real deal, bro. You know, I looked at him at Colorado. I really liked him. I really was like, yo, this guy got a cannon. He got an arm. You know, he's a quarterback. We're going to review some highlights of Shaduer Sanders' preseason opener. Also, we're going to get into the Eagles, my team. And some, you know, they need a little bit of work, just a little bit of work. But we're going to get into that and talk about the Eagles. And also, we're going to tap in with Fat Joe and Jadakiss and hear their thoughts on the BET Awards being canceled. Interesting. But we're going to get straight into it with this Tulsi Gabbard interview first. So let's see what Tulsi Gabbard is talking about, man.
Hilary Clinton, you've had relations with that are not
relations.
pleasant. I mean, when you ran for the presidency in 2020, she called you a Russian asset. Why did she not like you back then? You were a Democrat.
There are a few reasons, yes. There are a few reasons. Number one, you know, Hilary Clinton, as I said then, is the queen of warmongers.
Right.
So
The queen.
from a fundamental foreign policy view, what she was advocating for the American foreign policy to be versus what I was advocating for could not have been more different and diametrically opposed.
Libya, for instance, when she was chortling about the brutal death of Gaddafi.
Which is just every time I see that video of her in that interview, really, as you said, we saw and
he died.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He died.
And then she laughs.
laughing about it.
Yeah.
It's
psychopathic.
It's to think about someone like her assuming the role of the president and commander-in-chief and sitting in the Oval Office is actually quite terrifying when we look at the safety and security of the American people. And I just think about the...
Real quick, just to see what video she's actually talking about, I want to bring it up real quick so you can see it. Hold on.
tomorrow.
So this is the video right here that she's talking about. Yeah, we're just gonna keep it on the small screen.
Tomorrow. Thanks.
Wow. Huh.
Unconfirmed.
Unconfirmed. Yeah.
For this
No. Unconfirmed reports about Gaddafi being captured. Unconfirmed. Yeah. We've had too many. We've had a bunch of those before. We've had, have had him captured a couple of times.
Hold on. Mighty grabbed the wrong one. My bad. All right, hold on.
So, I mean, that is the land of unconfirmed reports.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
Did it have anything to do with your visit?
No, I'm sure it did.
So, I mean, that is the.
So this is the video that she's talking about. Like, let's just play it again. Like, look how excited she is. Look.
So, I mean, that is the land of unconfirmed reports.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
Did it have anything to do with your visit?
No, I'm sure it did.
Bro, she is wicked, bro. So that's the video that she's talking about. And it's creepy. Like, just how, just look how excited she is about, whether it's an enemy or not, like she's, you could tell if she was the president, it would just be war, bro. It would just be war, unnecessary people getting killed. Like, you could just see it just in that little clip, 12-second clip. You could see it.
Courageous men and women I've had the privilege of serving alongside in the military, and whose lives are the ones who are put on the line when.
And that's another thing, like, about Tulsi Gabbard. Like, she is a person that I've come to know, and I'm like, yo, I would vote for Tulsi Gabbard as a woman being president because she's very intelligent. She's her views on things are something that I align with. She's not big on war. She is a person that was in the military, so she knows firsthand about death, about losing, like loved ones, losing their family members to war. People like Hilary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and you could say Trump. Trump never went to war, but all of these people. But Trump is not a warmonger. Feel me? He's not looking for innocent people to get killed, soldiers or anybody to just be getting killed for no reason. Hillary Clinton and these people jump into these wars head first, not thinking about all of these families who are losing loved ones for no reason. They go to war for anything, for nothing. Like, it's all about control, though. They mainly go into these countries and they want to take over. They want to put people in place that they want there. And you'll be surprised, bro. You'll be surprised the wicked shit that goes on.
You have people like her and those who share her views in positions of power to make decisions about war and peace and life and death. So, substantively, my views are diametrically opposed to hers on foreign policy and many other issues. But also back, it was because of that as then I was a vice chair of the Democratic National Committee back in 2016. And, I had started to see from the inside so much of what was wrong within the National Democratic Party, but made a decision at that time where the scales were being tilted heavily for Hilary Clinton by then DNC Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Right. But also seeing how the mainstream media was complicit in this, because even as they touted Hillary Clinton as, and you remember, the most qualified candidate ever to run for president in our nation's history, that's a high bar.
Yes.
That's a very high bar. And yet when you look at her actual record, they would list off all of these titles, these fancy titles that she's carried, but none of them actually looked at her record of what her policies were as a US Senator, what her votes were, what her actions were around foreign policy that would qualify her to be the most qualified person ever to be commander-in-chief. They never got into any kind of detail or below the surface on her record as Secretary of State either. The kinds of things, Libya is one example. There are many others that you could point to of where her decisions, her advice, her engagements, ultimately, when it comes right down to it, made our country less safe. And so I resigned as vice chair of the DNC at the time and endorsed Bernie Sanders specifically because they had very, very different views on foreign policy. And it would give me the opportunity and the platform to have a megaphone in order to expose her record because the mainstream media refused to do it. So I have a feeling that in 2020, Hilary Clinton choosing to lob these baseless and slanderous accusations against me.
It's her thing. Russian asset.
It's her thing. And she may have remembered me telling the truth about who she really is and her true record for the years leading up to that point.
You hurt her feelings. And then she got her revenge. Fast forward to you find yourself on the Quiet Skies surveillance program. And I, in fact, accidentally met a whistleblower who told you about that. And she had found out that an ally of Hilary Clinton from way back, from her Whitewater days, had seen you on television, on Fox News, on Laura Ingram's show, talking about Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, and decided to put you on the list and make your life a kind of a misery. I think you were stopped or delayed 24 times and given extreme searches as if you were a domestic terrorist.
Yeah. Yes. She found a way to exact her revenge.
So you believe that was Hillary directing that?
I hadn't heard that account before. I was certain, however, that it was politically motivated.
Yeah.
There was no other explanation for it other than that. When I spoke to TSA agents in multiple airports who were just doing their jobs, but who, as they went through this extreme and in-depth search of me, and oh, by the way, my husband was also placed on this domestic terror watch list. They were like, why are we doing this with you? You are still serving as a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve. You're a former member of Congress. This makes zero sense whatsoever. And hearing that from the folks who are out there on the line every single day further affirmed what I believe to be true, that this could only be real if it were politically motivated. To not only go through these extreme, sometimes 30-minute long, 40-minute long searches before boarding any flight.
Would they go through your luggage?
Every single piece, the lining of my luggage after everything was removed, feeling down my every jacket that I had feeling down the seams of every single inch of my clothing. Again, these guys were doing what they were told to do. I wouldn't want them to be fired for, not doing their job. But when you look at the consequences, again, of this politicization of intelligence, this is another example. And who does it hurt? Well, these folks, these TSA personnel, the air marshals who were told they had to surveil me and follow me and look at how many times did I pick up my phone while I'm in flight? Did I talk to any other people? Did I have any interesting conversations? Was there any movement that I made that seemed a little out of the ordinary? How many times do you get up and go and use the bathroom? I mean, the surveillance during...
Did you know they were following you?
I had kind of noticed a couple of times.
Right.
But I didn't know until later the extent of how many air marshals they required to watch me and who had to type up reports
To get up on a plane with you and travel with you?
From drop off to move through the airport, to get on the plane, to landing at my destination and out to the curb. The real chilling effect here. And obviously I may be one of the better known people who's been on this list. But unfortunately, there are many Americans who have been targeted either for political reasons or for no reason at all, experiencing what is essentially illegal and unconstitutional surveillance
It must
by the government.
feel very violating.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And this is the I think the real implication here is people will see me on TV criticizing Hilary Clinton's foreign policies, criticizing Kamala Harris's foreign policies, talking about how dangerous either one of them would be as president and commander in chief, and then very publicly seeing how the government and the intelligence is being weaponized against me.
But what's hilarious, well, not hilarious, but what's crazy is that they keep talking about how Donald Trump is weaponizing the government, the FBI, Pam Bondi and them to basically the DOJ to go after, Obama's administration, to go after Letitia James. These are all people who actually use lawfare to go after Donald Trump, to go after his political opponents. To go after the people that were aligning with him, like Tulsi Gabbard, but they were going after her before she even started fucking with Trump, because she didn't fuck with them. She didn't fuck with what they were doing, and she seen what was going on. Like, you could say what you want about Trump, about certain people in his administration. So to me, Tulsi Gabbard is the one. She is the one who exposes everything, because she was a Democrat through and through. She was in Congress as a Democrat, so she aligned with the Democratic Party for years, not like a year, for years, almost a decade. And she, also military background, she said she was a colonel. Like, so she has rank. So she's in the mix for real on many sides, so she is like, so when she started campaigning with Trump and she came out and said she was a Republican, like, for me, I was looking at it like this is a big deal. And she is literally single-handedly right now crushing them and exposing them. And they deserve to be exposed, man, because for so long, people have, including me, we have aligned ourselves, even though a lot of people truly aren't really into politics, to be honest with you. This was the first year where I actually seen, like, the average person, like, going out to vote. Like, this was the biggest election ever. Like, where you seen just average, everyday people talking about politics, talking about how everything is so expensive, gas prices, just so many different things, because things were so bad. Things were so bad that just everybody was talking about it. Like, I had multiple, phone calls about that very thing, like talking to my cousin out in Florida, and we're like, yo, this is crazy, like, that we're even talking about politics. Like, we never did that. The average person doesn't care about politics. But things have gotten so bad that it forces people to wake up. It forces people to wake up to like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, what are we missing? And now you got, they're so bad that people voted for Trump because they didn't want to take the chance of things getting worse than what they really are. So a lot of people may have not fucked with Trump, but voted for Trump because they said, look, I can't take a chance on the Democrats right now. I can't afford it. My family can't afford it. we damn near homeless fucking with these people. And now that Trump is in, you got people like Tulsi Gabbard who is exposing everything because they're in the loop now. Now that they're filling the seats, she's able to get all of this information that she's exposing, just everything. And Trump don't even got to do nothing. He could just sit back. But Trump knows the game. I told you, man. Trump knows their playbook. He knows what they're going to do before they even do it. And they don't have no new moves. Like, they playing chess and they just keep doing the same moves. Like, and that's just what it is. So they don't have no new moves. And Trump he's just rolling over them.
Can have a very chilling effect on people to say, oh my gosh, like this is happening to somebody who's in the military and who served as a member of Congress, who ran for president, and she's speaking out and speaking the truth and standing up against these very powerful people. What would happen to, everyday American who maybe goes to a Board of Education meeting and stands up for the right of their daughter to go to school and compete in sports without being afraid for her safety and her well-being, because others are saying, well, no, boys who say that they're girls can go in your bathroom and can run against you on the track field. What happens to that mom or to that dad who stands up and speaks the truth and then is labeled a domestic violent extremist by the Biden administration? So you can see, again, the chilling effect that this would have and the menacing effect that it has really on sending a message: you better comply or else. You better remain silent or else, because look at what we did to Tulsi Gabbard. Just imagine what we can do to you, and you won't have a platform to speak up about it and expose them for doing exactly what they're doing.
How ironic that you now are the head of the intelligence community.
Right.
You're the DNI. They never would have imagined that would be the outcome.
I don't know that I did either.
You served for 8 years as a Democratic congresswoman from Hawaii. That was your ideology, I guess. So what happened? And before I ask you about your evolution, do you think that being a Democrat and coming from that kind of machine, it's much more of a machine, much more formidable, I think, than the Republican sort of chaos. Do you think that's given you an ability to do what maybe Republicans couldn't do? I'm just seeing how effective you've been as DNI in such a short period in being able to construct a narrative and stick to it and understand where the bodies are buried, and create, and figure out, not be naive, figure out what they were up to. Do you think that your Democrat background's helped you?
I will say certainly my experience over all of these years that I've been involved in public service in the political realm has informed me very well in the work that I'm doing now. I think it would be too simplistic to say that just being a Democrat in Congress would lead to this. Because I wasn't a typical Democrat in Congress either.
Yeah. But you were the deputy head of the DNC.
And I'll start there because to me, you mentioned, the ideology. I was certainly affiliated with the Democratic Party. I was a Democrat. I joined the Democratic Party back in my early 20s because I had to pick one.
Yeah.
And what I saw and was attracted to was really the values that I saw, Dr. Martin Luther King promoting, the values that President John F. Kennedy talked about, and the kind of leadership that he brought. I saw a party that fought for, the struggling working man and woman in America, those who were just trying to take care of their families and put food on the table and provide a better future for their kids. I saw a party that cared about, clean air and clean water for us to breathe and for us to live in and around. And that's what drew me to the Democratic Party, over 20 years ago. And you start to fast forward to see how the Democratic Party changed. And you go from then and you look fast forward to where we are now, where you have people talking about, this guy Mamdani in New York as the future of the Democratic Party, and he's a self-proclaimed socialist.
Yeah.
You look at AOC, same thing. And if only the Democratic Party of today had the intellectual honesty to really question themselves about what party would President John F. Kennedy most align with in today's world that we live in.
Look at RFK Jr.
That's right.
And you.
That's right.
Two of, the brightest talents that have come out of the Democrat Party in terms of leadership. And you
have been rejected.
And were rejected.
By the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And
see, that's the thing that, when people today just don't understand. They think like it's the same. It's not. Like, you had good presidents on both sides. You had bad presidents on both sides. But that's why it's not about aligning yourself. It's about aligning yourself with a party. It's about aligning yourself with what's good for America, what's good for your family. And like she said, if you go back and you look at John F. Kennedy and the values that he brought to the table and stuff like that, it's just not the same. They tried to do the same thing to Trump that they did to John F. Kennedy. The same thing. Because he kind of was doing the same thing. He wasn't with the wars. He wasn't with the bullshit. And he had John F. Kennedy had people around him that was advising him wrong. And he wasn't with the bullshit. And they got rid of him. That was more during a time where, technology isn't the way it is today. So it was more easier to get away with that than it is today. So it's deep though, man. She's
really
talking all
seeing
facts though,
again,
man.
The Democratic Party used to be the party that really championed free speech. That even
the
if
most
there was
horrific.
fierce, even if there was fierce disagreement, recognizing that you have the right to free speech just as much.
Yo, real quick, if you go back a decade, maybe a little longer, because Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Bernie Sanders, they all have been in government for decades, right? If you go back, they have played clips on the internet of Trump talking about the corruption and all that in the government. And they showed clips of, I believe it was Bernie Sanders, Nancy Pelosi, and somebody else talking about, Obama, talking about getting fraud, waste, and abuse out of the government. Now that Trump is doing that, they're saying that there isn't no fraud, there is no waste, there is no corruption. Like, Trump just doing anything. Like, he's just trying to steal your social security numbers and all this dumb shit. When they literally were aligned with the same ideologies back then. And that's what people don't understand. All the shit that Trump is doing, at one point they believed in. Now, it's like they definitely have some type of agenda, with all this focusing on illegal immigration. Obviously, that's to secure the vote. But illegal immigration, transgenderism, and all of this stuff that just has nothing to do with anything. You know what I'm saying? Illegal, you can't be illegal in this country. It's like we can't go to any other country and be there. Who gives a fuck about transgenderism and all of that goofy shit? It shouldn't be in schools. They shouldn't be teaching your kids about any of that because it has nothing to do with education. And it's wrong. It's just wrong. It's just not true. So you're teaching kids false ideologies, and you got a lot of kids aligning with this shit because they're children. They don't have the brain capacity to even understand. Some of these people are getting involved with these things just to fit in because they're awkward. They're, with technology, nobody wants to get out, and, social is no more, like, it's not as social as it used to be, Like, it's crazy. You said, yup, and they failed 3 times. Yeah, like it's crazy, man.
Much as I do, and seeing the value in the robust debate that is the public town square of America. This is America. This is what we were founded upon. And so you mentioned, I think the word you used was chaos in the Republican Party.
Yeah.
But, if we as Americans look at the founding of our country and we look at the Constitution and our Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, these documents that are the fabric and foundation that make us who we are, and then you look at the 2 political parties that
I want to point out too that Tulsi and Kamala Harris both ran for president before, I think in 2020, before Kamala got anointed the chosen one for the Democrats this past election. You can see it's not even close. Like, this is a raw, uncut interview. Maybe it was edited. I don't know. So I don't want to say, but it looks like it's not edited or anything. But even if you see the it's a huge difference in intellect. Like the way Tulsi Gabbard talks, the way she speaks, like she talks like a politician. She talks like she has sense. Kamala Harris never talked like this. Never. Like, come on, bro. That's why nobody voted for Kamala Harris.
That we have today. And in the Democratic Party, and yes, I have experienced
fake
this
black.
in great depth, how the overarching message is comply or else.
Right.
Here's the narrative. Here's the talking points. Stick to the talking points or else you will face retaliation. You will face some kind of, public punishment or smearing or whatever the tool or mechanism is. And therefore directly limiting any kind of free speech or real true dissent, like actual dissent on the issues that matter, any real true robust debate. And then you look at the Republican Party and people can criticize this person or that person or this debate or argument or whatever. And it can be really messy sometimes. But when you look at our democratic republic and a country that was founded on the principle of freedom, true freedom and free speech, well, guess what? This is what you get. And in President Trump's administration here, as you talked about, both now Secretary of Health and Human Services, Bobby Kennedy, I'm here. There are others who are now a part of the team who or former Democrats or who, maybe voted for Barack Obama in a previous election, all coming together because in President Trump, we're seeing this unique and incredible coalition of Americans who are seeing beyond party lines and are attracted to common sense leadership.
That's a fact, bro.
Who are attracted to, in President Trump, somebody who is actually standing up for working men and women.
She just summed it all up right there. Like, I'm gonna play the rest where I really don't have to. Like, she just dropped the mic right there. It's the truth. You got Robert F. Kennedy, who never came out and said that he is a Republican. Honestly, now that I think about it, I believe he's not anything. He's just an independent because he ran as because he ran, but he ran as an independent. He didn't run as a Republican or a Democrat. So, but he aligned with Trump. When it came down to it, he knew that he wasn't going to get the election. He knew Trump was more powerful and the Democratic Party was more powerful. So he knew he wasn't going to win. So he aligned with Trump because Trump aligned with a lot of things that he believed in, which is what? The main thing is just logic. Just logic, bro. Why are we debating about if men should play in women's sports? Like, it's like, what? What are we talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, most of the things that they're pushing, I can't even believe that people are even debating it, to be honest with you. Like, it's like, what? Yo, just think about it. In 2025, we have got to a point where when you got to ask a person what a woman is, and they tell you that it's whatever you feel. And it just gets debunked on every podcast, every show. So if I want to be what Piers Morgan say? Piers Morgan said, so can I be a black lesbian cat or something? I don't know what he said. He said some old dumb shit. And they're like, well, obviously you can't be black. Well, you can't be a fucking man. But it's a dumb debate, a dumb art. It's just stupid. They're trying to change. They're trying to change the anatomy. They're trying to change science. Like, what are we talking about? Oh, in the pronouns, like my pronouns are they, them, thee, they, she, he. Like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, we got to get back to a point where people get slapped. Like, you just get slapped for saying dumb shit. Like, real talk, man. Like, man, niggas got caught. That's why, yeah. Man, yo, Daddy-O, man, I need you back in Jersey, man. Shout out to my boy Daddy-O, bro. He out in Houston. But, yo, I need him back in Jersey. Man, listen, my boy Daddy-O ain't with none of that shit. Nigga, you capping. We need to get back to that, man. Call it what it is, man. Fuck that. You lying, nigga. Stop fucking lying. You know what I mean? You ugly. Man, you ugly. Like, damn, God didn't bless you with the beauty. It's cool. You know what I mean? Somebody hit it. You fat bitch need to lose weight. You too, nigga. You fat too. Get your fat ass on the scale. Do the math and go work out. You fat motherfucker. We need to get back to just being real and honest with people. All this, you know. To me, she's a 10. Bitch, 300 pounds, look like a man, got a chin, her beard bigger than mine. Man, fuck out of here, man. What are we talking about? We have come, like, yo, it's like crazy. Like, we have come to a point where just being fake is like, it's just everything. It's everything now. You know, if I come out and I just start capping all the time, just saying whatever, like, motherfuckers would be tuning right in, liking my shit. Yeah, bro. Yeah, keep it going. Keep capping, nigga.
In this country, President Trump, who led the passage of, the One Big Beautiful Bill that says, no, if you're a waiter working in a restaurant and you're struggling to make ends meet, the government shouldn't be taxing you on your tips.
Right.
No tax on Social Security income.
Should be no tax at all.
Very real practical
Especially
decisions that our president makes. And I'm grateful to be in the room when some of these decisions are being made and some of these conversations are being had where he really just looks at, okay, what makes sense? What's in the best interest of the American people? What's in the best interest of strengthening our ability to live in a truly peaceful, prosperous, and free nation? It is so refreshing. And you look at his victory in 2024, an unprecedented, historic win. And I was grateful to have both been at rallies with him, but really Bobby Kennedy and I went around the country together and had conversations with huge crowds of people, and seeing the ideological diversity, the political diversity of folks in those crowds who were attracted by people who were having real conversations about things that matter to themselves, to their children, to their families. And
what was when you first started doing that with Bobby Kennedy, what was your relationship with him? Did you ever to each other marvel at how two Democrats, I mean, he's from this storied Democrat family that, I don't think any family is more iconic in that party than the Kennedy family. And he had his own relatives attack him for it.
Yeah.
Did you share sort of?
We didn't spend too much. We actually didn't really spend any time kind of marveling at the moment. I think both of us have been, or we were very mission focused.
Right.
Both of us came to our own decisions to endorse President Trump in the 2024 election.
Was that in part a sort of a hostility to Biden, or?
We had very clear reasons. I mean, there were obviously a lot of criticisms of President Biden and his administration. I wrote a whole book about it. about why I left the Democratic Party and was urging others to do the same. But I think for both
say a lot,
Bobby and myself, there were very positive reasons and motivations for why we decided to endorse President Trump and to actually spend months on the road, going out and sharing with other people our own personal experiences, and why we felt so strongly to leave our families and our homes behind and spend that time on the road, because we knew he was the best president for our nation at this moment. And look, it's been 6 months and the president is delivering on his promises.
And could you see yourself going back to the Democratic Party? I mean, a country with only one healthy party is not going to do very well.
Yeah.
So could you see yourself or a group of people trying to restore the Democratic Party, trying to resuscitate it? Is that possible?
The Democratic Party has become more and more unrecognizable to me now. Certainly when
She
I
don't
left
even want to
the
go back
Democratic
and try
Party,
to help it.
I tried for a long time
Burn it.
to bring about change within the Democratic Party, to bring it back to the party of JFK. And time again, what I faced was quite extreme resistance from within the Democratic Party. I remember as I was running for president in 2020, at one of the debates that we had, I talked about bringing the Democratic Party, wanting to revive kind of a new Democratic Party that would bring it back to our roots of fighting for the people, of fighting for free speech. And I was ridiculed. I was ridiculed at that Democratic event for having the audacity to say such things. And then that was, 5 years ago. Now you look at where we are today. The Democratic Party has rapidly become far more
and why
extreme.
Why? What happened? What went wrong?
It's, you can point to a lot of different moments, but really fundamentally, the Democratic Party is not rooted in any true, is not rooted in the Constitution.
They just dropped the mic on that one. Like, it's the truth. It's unrecognizable. It's not the same, man. That's why when people still hold on to it, that's how you know people aren't growing and they're not like in tune with what's going on. Because if you're still aligning yourself, it's just like anything in life, Like if you got a friend and y'all been friends and y'all been tight, but you getting an education, you going down the path of success, and your friend, he went from, worrying about his education to now he partying and getting high, and he's doing things that you're not really aligned with because you're focused. You're gonna just leave it alone. You're gonna be like, look, I love you. I gotta love you from a distance though, and you're gonna distance yourself from it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But instead of people distancing themselves and at least getting information or truth on things that people are exposing, they just be like, nah, that ain't true. Nah, they lying. It's just crazy. People need to wake the fuck up. But let's get on to this. Shout out to Fat Joe, Jadakiss. They got a new podcast called Joe and Jada, and they talking about the BET Awards and the Soul Train Awards, I believe, are getting canceled or have been canceled, and they talking about it, so we're going to talk about it with them.
Yo, yeah, man, you know what it is, Joe and Jada, man, hip-hop shit for the culture. I was scrolling yesterday, I seen BET is canceling the BET Hip Hop Awards and the Soul Train Awards.
And the Soul, yeah.
We all know our people. The BET, the Hip Hop Awards, till they started switching, I think they let you host it.
3 years,
They let
3 years.
Kevin Hart do the last one, so they put a little bit of fluidity back into it, but it was a time when Then it got like the Ratchet Awards and nobody was really going and this and that. Then I guess with the passing of Don Cornelius, whoever was in charge of the Soul Train, I guess, I don't know, slipped. It didn't have the same fluidity as it had other years, prior to before he passed. Mm-hmm. So now they just canceling it. That's like a loss for the culture. What'd you say?
You want me to say? You just explain what do you want you to say?
I just gave you
I got a different approach, man.
Yeah, because like what else do you have that represents the black culture and the music and everything? Because it ain't the Grammys. It ain't, what else they got? I don't even think they do the MTV thing no more. I don't even know I think the MTV is still a thing. I don't know if they do the awards anymore. Damn, what else do they have? Like, you just have the BET Awards. I know you used to have the Source Awards, but they been stopped doing that. Damn, that's crazy. Damn, so if you canceling the Soul Train Awards and the BET Awards, you pretty much canceling out the hip hop culture.
Okay. My approach is factual. BET, this is a form of gentrification what's going on right now. Right? So I don't know if y'all really want to ask me about this shit right here, right? So BET came up as a community.
Hey, yo, I don't know why I'm like, Fat Joe is my guy. I fuck with Fat Joe. They have the Grammys, the Oscars, but they not focused on the black artists. Right. So that's what I'm saying, though. That's why I didn't even put them in the category of, like, the culture of hip-hop. You got the BET Awards, and, like, like I said, you used to have the Source Awards, MTV, I think even, kind of had the hip-hop thing in it. But all of that's, like, not even there. So you had the Soul Train and the BET Awards was specifically focused on hip-hop culture. So if they don't have that, then how else are artists and things like that get recognized for big records and things like that? I got a feeling where Fat Joe gonna go with it more as though, like, they're gonna try to make it like one thing with the music where it's like all one. I don't know what he's gonna say. But I wanted to say, like, ever since Kiss started doing a show with Fat Joe, Kiss remind me so much of my boy Daddy-O. It's so funny because just like they kind of similar in features. They don't look like exactly alike, but they got similar features. But it's their character. Like, he reminds me of my boy Daddy-O. Like, especially so they started doing this show, and ever since I've been seeing clips of, like, Kiss basically seeing Joe capping, like he capping about these stories or, exaggerating them or whatever. I don't know why, but when I just looked at Fat Joe, I just recently seen this clip of when Fat Joe said he robbed this whole gym and he had so much shit that he had the guys that he robbed helping him grab this shit, like, and somebody did a whole skit while Fat Joe was talking about this shit. So now every time I see Fat Joe, I think it is skit, and this shit funny, bro.
Station for black people, right? The urban culture. And
Point is, if you doing a podcast you gotta do it with somebody that at least will let you cat. You can't do a podcast with somebody that, like, Kiss, real nigga. Kiss gonna be like, yeah, come on, bro. And that's what he be doing. Like, he remind me of my boy Daddy-O so much, bro. Like, that's Daddy-O to the fullest. When you say some bullshit around my boy Daddy-O, he gonna be like, boy, you lying. Hey, yo, this shit funny,
what is Bob Johnson took the check.
Oh, my God.
He sold it, first black billionaire, whatever the case may be. He sold it. He sold it to Viacom and Paramount, MTV and them, VH1 and them. Little by little
yeah,
over the years,
VH1 too.
quietly,
Sorry about that.
they've been firing a lot of people behind the scenes in BET, and everybody who has something to say, they've been firing them and this and this and that. And I know because I've been working on the BET Hip Hop Awards for 3 years. Shit was like the budget, not for me, but the budget
Just kept getting.
getting chopped and chopped and chopped. And last year, I debuted my single with CANCLED in the VMAs, and Katy Perry's still flying through the air in the VMAs. They still blowing out of the cannons. They still flying in the air. They still got all the tricks. They still got the budgets. They got the shit, you know. And so I think in the entertainment world, I don't think I know this was like a form of gentrification. They kept underfunding them, and you ain't got no money to be creative. That's why you was watching the Ratchet Awards and all that. They ain't had no bread. Last year we shot the last joint, and I am
They have bread for what they want to have bread for.
I'm so honored for the opportunity, Connie Orlando and the whole crew to let me host. That was one of the biggest things I ever wanted to do in my life. You know, I look up, if I never told you, I look up to a Steve Harvey. So Steve Harvey's my guy at media that I want to be like. And so, you know, that made me feel like I was Steve Harvey of hip hop and trying to keep it consistent. But I saw what they did to him. They just stopped the budgets. They started firing. I almost said arrested. They started firing a bunch of people who brought a lot to the table, and now we're left with, guess what? This ain't working. But nothing without no money, no promotions, no staff, no nothing works. It just don't work. You might as well have called it the Independent Awards. And so, no Soul Train, no BET Awards. But guess what? We got the VMAs.
Those ain't for us.
That's what I was about to say. That's not for us.
I'm being honest with you. I love the VMAs too.
I got a VMA, but then still.
I love the VMAs too, but the point is, that's your answer in a nutshell. That's what happened.
They left us with one award show.
The BET,
that ain't really ours anyway.
Yeah, but they got I think the main BET Awards.
The BET regular awards is still there.
Yeah.
But that's still
okay.
A little topsy-turvy.
Oh, no, that's a little,
so
that's the second away. The writing's on the wall. You see everything else falling down as a domino. That's the next one. One little fumble by Kevin Hart. One little joke too many. That shit over too. And so that's what it is. You know, sometimes, you know, and I got a lot of friends at VMAs and MTV, and I love you guys. But, you know, sometimes the goal is to buy your project to suppress you. You know what I'm saying? So the goal is, yo, some big company might come and be like, yo, we want to buy Rewind to 10. Throw us the Billy. And then like shut it down. Yeah. Like, yo, this shit got to go. We got to keep this thing moving.
That's what they do. That is true.
That's just our take on Joe and Jada.
Yeah. Save hip hop.
Save hip hop.
Save the awards.
Let's go.
Save.
Yo, shout out to Kid, shout out to Fat Joe. I really don't know if they're going, I don't know, man. It's hard to see right now. I don't know if they're going to continue their joint, because I don't know, man. I just be reading body language, like, and I could just tell. Anyway, oh, shit. Ooh, dang. Caught a Charlie horse live on air. God damn. Woo! Then caught the Charlie. Anyway, so now we on to the real deal Holyfield, Shaduer Sanders. Yo, I just really called it Jolly Horse. God damn. Yeah. Yo, them shit said it way, boy. But I don't know though. I don't know, like. So he said, so I'm confused though, because it says that they canceling the BET Awards and the Soul Train Awards. So is it the Soul Train Awards or I don't know. I'm confused. Because he said he keeping the BET Awards. Nobody interested in that anymore. True. That's true. I don't know, man. It's different. But this is why we got to come together and do our own thing. We let these motherfuckers with the big money come through and, buy shit out, and we sell out. Well, I'm not going to say sell out, because it ain't nothing wrong with it. If you build up a company and you sell it, that's what it is. But you sell it and then motherfuckers shelf it. That's what, because they want to get the exposure for their, like, for instance, like if they had the VMAs. Say if the same person bought the BET Awards who owned the VMAs, they'll buy BET and shelf that shit. Or just have it on some, like, we'll throw a little event on there every once in a blue or something. Or just run reruns on there. Like, that type of thing. So, I don't know. It's weird. But to not have the BET is crazy. Like, that was like the one thing that people that you had that was for the culture, That's why motherfuckers gotta come together, man. You got Diddy gonna come home soon. You got Diddy, you got Oprah, you got Jay-Z, Beyonce, bunch of millionaires, bunch of motherfuckers with money. And then, like, you got the sprinkles of other races who will be willing to invest in, but motherfuckers be the majority owners and create their own shit, their own lane, and bring hip hop back. Let's bring hip hop back, man. Shit was lit. Niggas actually was spitting, talking shit. Let's get on to this, though. Yo, Shaduer Sanders. Now, look, I'm not going to glaze and act like, yo, I told y'all Shaduer was I ain't going to do none of that, because that ain't the truth. But I watched a little. I never watched him when he was in Jackson State, but I watched him a little bit when he was in Colorado, and I was surprised. Not even going to cap. Like, not going to cap. I was like, yo, that's a fact. They definitely need to bring real hip-hop back, for sure. But I'm not trying to discredit niggas, because there's a lot of artists that is out that I'll fuck with. I fuck with. I listen to them. Shit, I was just listening to Lil Baby last night. Like, but, it's just different, man. I don't know. But I was watching Shaduer, and I was surprised. Like, he got a fucking cannon. And I watched him on this preseason game, and he looked so comfortable, bro. Like, just sitting in the pocket. He threw the first touchdown through two defenders. Like, whoo, that shit was on the money. Let's watch his highlights. Big screen.
In motion. On the quick slant, that is off the hands of Deontay Johnson.
And they got Deontay Johnson? Okay.
Panthers remade their defensive front. First third down, they bring 4. Sanders, quick throw underneath. And that is going to be just shy of the marker. 4th down. And cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery.
Good with that number 12.
And win on sale now. Blitz coming. Shaduer Sanders. Check down. Trevor Williams rumbles into Panther territory.
Nice little dunk.
Slip underneath and tie him up and let Rosebloom come on.
Look at it. Look at that.
Sanders loads up. Look at a tangled mess along the sideline.
Oh, flag.
Look at that strong nickel, and Smith Wade can slide to safety at times. Pressure coming. Sanders escaping, running, and slides for a first down.
He got some little speed on him.
Steve deceptively fast.
I thought Shaduer was slow.
Morgan both praised his physicality.
He got a little speed on him.
On second down,
This is
action.
Get up out of there.
Hit by Deshaun Robinson. Moves the Packers.
I know the story.
Over the middle, that is complete. Shaw Smith-Wade finally slows up. Jamari Thrash, the former Louisville Cardinal, crossing the face of the corner blitz.
Oh, come on. Come on with the bull.
trouble. Now near midfield.
If it glitch a little bit, let me know. But it's giving me a warning. But let's keep it going.
In his grasp, and Sanders just able to get rid of the ball. Shaduer Sanders to throw on first down, and that one complete to Brendan Bates, listed third on the tight end depth chart.
Corners make good to Corey Thornton. We've seen him multiple times tonight come up to make tackles.
With a play clock down to 1, it's a screen pass. And not much going on. Jamari Thrash made the catch and went backwards for a couple of yards. On third down, Sanders airmails his wide receiver. Sal Cannella, the intended target. It's fourth down.
They haven't played them tonight, and we wanted to address our front of our defense to stop the run.
Off the play fake, Shaduer Sanders into the trap.
Look at that! Oh my God!
And it is brought in for
Yo, that shit was on the money. That was nice.
Other stuff, but right now, it's just excited to be on the team.
You got your earpiece in, you're listening in on Andy. What's your job the rest of this game?
Yeah,
Shaduer got a cannon, bro.
Jack DeLong and Steve Smith with us tonight. Sanders in.
Look at that. Nice. Yo, he just looked real comfortable. He looks comfortable, man. And I like how he's not panicking. You'll see, like, in a lot of young guys, you'll see, like, it's different. The game is way more faster, and you'll just see him being fidgety, and moving like quick instead of looking at their reads first, and then if it's not there, moving. Like, you see, like, he looked comfortable, Looks solid, man. He looks really good. And he's not even like that big of a dude. Like, you could tell he's not big on the weight. So Shaduer, get in the weight room. You know what I mean? Get right. But if he can, I say, gain like 10 pounds and kind of tone it up,
Rookie free agent.
Gonna be a problem.
Play action. Sanders pump fakes.
Nice.
Thomas Incombe.
Nice move.
Quick slam off the hands.
Actually, he was there too. Should have made that. He was on the numbers. He should have made that.
It was the biggest point of emphasis in the offseason. Sanders standing tall. Get your tickets today.
He's been throwing that shit in these little tight windows.
The first half and a TFL for the Panther defense. Trevion Thomas.
That's going to get rewarded in film because what he just did.
That's right.
Sanders moving the
See the patience?
downfield throw.
Oh my God, that was a nice catch. That was a nice catch. Look at that shit.
That's a great throw and a great catch.
Let me get that. Nice. A little overthrown, but it was still nice.
Come in and make plays.
Look at these tight windows, bro.
The blitz, it's picked up. Sanders.
Look at that.
And it's caught for a touchdown.
Yo,
Caden Davis.
you see that? Bro, you see that tight window he threw that in? Like, what? Come on. Look at that. A dime.
The pocket a little
That's
bit,
a dime.
and he doesn't get frenetic. He doesn't get all panicky.
Exactly. What I just said.
Here's the ball
I just said
right
that.
over, it's an over-the-top throw.
Look at
right
that.
on the money, low and away. Can't get blown up by the safety.
Wow.
Touchdowns, rushing and passing.
That was nice.
3 games. Sanders takes the knee. The Browns.
Yeah, I think he didn't.
You're auditioning
play a
not
little
only for
bit of
your
the
own
second?
team, you're auditioning for everybody else in the NFL.
Sure he
George
did.
Sanders has played the whole game for Cleveland. And we got a big pass breakup by Shamar Bartholomew. Backed up from the 4-yard
Definitely
line.
getting them
Sanders
snaps.
now in his own end zone.
Get up out of there.
Steps up.
It's low.
Incomplete. Intended for Bates.
And they should. Just the way he's been able to orchestrate what's going on.
Off play action. Sanders.
Nice.
He's got Bates.
Yo. Hey, yo, bro, Shaduer looking solid out there, man. Like, he's really looking solid, bro. Like, Okay? Like, yo, he definitely, to me, my opinion, I think he gonna start. Honestly. I don't know. They might give it to Joe. They might give it to Joe Flacco, but I don't know.